Good morning. It was fascinating yesterday watching the Prime Minister and his Attorney General tying themselves in knots over the subject of our little view from the mountain yesterday morning, the complexity of hate speech and freedom of speech and the various shades and where those lines are. The Prime Minister referred journalists to the Old Testament to make his point about the dangers of some religious texts. Well, with respect to the Prime Minister, I don't think too many people are worried about terrorists running around the world quoting tracts from the Old Testament right about now. But it does raise the question, and it will be raised at the Royal Commission, no doubt, about where in a secular society the line is for religions to be saying the kinds of things some religions are. So we'll await that with interest, as we will what happens next with Iran and the US president. The German Chancellor Merz said overnight that the theocracy in Iran was on its last legs. President Trump tweeted that help is on its way, reminiscent of that great old Little River Band song. The nature of that help we'll find out soon enough. President Trump had said that the murder en masse of the protesters was his red line, and that's happening. The red line has been crossed. And you get the feeling this president doesn't make threats lightly. President Obama, of course, used that phrase, red line, back in 2013, when in a suburb of Damascus, the Assad government, the then president of Syria, used sarin gas, chemical agent, on his own people. It killed 1,400 men, women, and children. A year before that, President Obama had been asked, "What is your red line before we get involved in Syria?" And he said the use of chemical weapons on his own people. Well, that happened. The red line was crossed, and Barack Obama, as is his right, changed his mind. The civil war went on, killed between 500,000 and 700,000. There were so many people aren't entirely sure. And it led to that mass exodus of refugees up through Europe to Germany. They went straight past Hungary because their president, Viktor Orban, wouldn't let them in. And he was criticized at the time for being far right. Excuse me. So they arrived in Germany, where their Chancellor, Angela Merkel, had said, "Wir schaffen das. Wir schaffen das. We can do this." She didn't ask the people whether they could do that, whether they wanted that, but she assured them they could. Well, by Christmas that year, some of the refugees were assaulting and raping young women in that magnificent square outside the wonderful cathedral in Cologne. It's a beautiful place. So what happens next? A red line has been crossed. The president has said he would act if that red line was crossed, and now we await his reaction. In Iran, meantime, they mock Trump. Their leadership is saying that bring on the war, we're ready for you. Well, it doesn't look like they're too ready at the moment. But the last Iranian leader who said that was Major General Soleimani, January 1st, 2020, in Trump's first term. A Trump-endorsed drone killed him 2 days later. I said last week that the Iranian leadership should be sleeping with one eye open. Better make it two. Have a good day.